First poem I'd like to read is Death of a Naturalist, the title poem from this collection that was dedicated to Seaamus's wife, Mary. Death of a Naturalist. All year the flax dam festered in the heart of the townland. Green and heavy-headed flax had rotted there, weighted down by huge sods. Daily it sweltered in the punishing sun. Bubbles gargled delicately. Blue bottles wove a strong gauze of sound around the smell. There were dragonflies, spotted butterflies, but best of all was the warm, thick slobber of frog spawn that grew like clotted water in the shade of the banks. Here, every spring, I would fill jam potfuls of the jellied specks to range on windowsills at home, on shelves at school, and wait and watch until the fattening dots burst into nimble swimming tadpoles. Miss Walls would tell us how the daddy frog was called the bullfrog, and how he croaked, and how the mammy frog laid hundreds of little eggs, and this was frog spawn. You could tell the weather by frogs too, for they were yellow in the sun and brown in rain. Then, one hot day, when fields were rank with cow dung in the grass, the angry frogs invaded the flax dam. I ducked through hedges to a coarse croaking that I had not heard before. The air was thick with a bass chorus. Right down the dam, gross-bellied frogs were cocked on sods. Their loose necks pulsed like sails. Some hopped. The slap and plop were obscene threats. Some sat poised like mud grenades, their blunt heads farting. I sickened, turned, and ran. The great slime kings were gathered there for vengeance, and I knew that if I dipped my hand, the spawn would clutch it. This poem is from District and Circle, some of the later works, and it's a very prophetic poem in many ways, and it's called Anything Can Happen, and it's after Horace. Anything can happen. You know how Jupiter will mostly wait for clouds to gather head before he hurls his lightning. Well, just now he galloped his thunder cart and horses across a clear blue sky. It shook the earth and clogged the under-earth, the river Styx, the winding streams, the Atlantic shore itself. Anything can happen. The tallest towers be overturned, those in high places daunted, those overlooked regarded. Stropped beak fortune swoops, making the air gasp, tearing the crest off one, setting it down bleeding on the next. Ground gives. The heavens' weight lifts up off Atlas like a kettle lid. Capstones shift. Nothing resettles right. Telluric ash and fire spores boil away. This next poem is from a book of selected poems from 65 to 75. It's one of the first poems, along with Midterm Break, that many of us would have recognized and read first. It's called Requiem for the Croppies. The pockets of our greatcoats full of barley. No kitchens on the run, no striking camp. We moved quick and sudden in our own country. The priest lay behind ditches with the tramp. A people, hardly marching, on the hike. We found new tactics happening each day. We'd cut through reins and rider with the pike and stampede cattle into infantry. Then retreat through hedges where cavalry must be thrown. Until, on Vinegar Hill, the fatal conclave, terraced thousands died shaking scythes at cannon. The hillside blushed, soaked in our broken wave. They buried us without shroud or coffin, and in August the barley grew up out of the grave. This is Bog Land for T.P. Flannigan. We have no prairies to slice a big sun at evening. Everywhere the eye concedes to encroaching horizon is wooed into the cyclops eye of a tarn. Our unfenced country is bog that keeps crusting between the sights of the sun. They have taken the skeleton of the great Irish elk out of the peat, set it up an astounding crateful of air. Butter, sunk under more than 100 years, was recovered salty and white. The ground itself is kind. Black butter, melting and opening underfoot, missing its last definition by millions of years. They'll never dig coal here. Only the waterlogged trunks of great firs, soft as pulp, our pioneers keep striking inwards and downwards. Every layer they strip seems camped on before. The bog holes might be Atlantic seepage. The wet centre is bottomless.